Hey friends and family, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com, and today's video will be a demonstration reading on true crime. I know a lot of you enjoy the true crime. Now, I have been on the fence about doing true crime, and I've discussed it before because especially if a case is relevant, it's fresh in the memory of everyone, because there are individuals who could be hurt, and I try my very, very best to be respectful when I do these readings. But they are valid readings. You know, there's numerous true crime channels who are discussing true crime, and why should tarot readers be any different in being concerned and interested in a case? Now, with that in mind, today's reading will be about the Idaho case whereby Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana were killed. This reading will not be on them individually or even as a whole. This reading is going to be on any surprises that will either be leaked before trial or that will come out in trial. Just anything that we just are not made aware of. Now bear in mind that, of course, we all know that the event happened in November of 2022, so it's a little bit longer than a year. We're going on the second year here. And it'll probably be summer of 2025 before this case comes to trial. And there's been a gag order, and so there's not a whole lot of information. We got just about enough information to justify why they arrested BK, who they believe is their perp. And we were given just enough information to justify that arrest. But we all know that there's a ton of information that they have not released. And so there's a lot of stuff. And I think we'd probably be very interested and surprised to know a lot of this stuff, but it's just not forthcoming. So in the meanwhile, when you live in a vacuum, all of us make up stories, or we try to make sense of something and we fill in the blanks. I mean, that's why people come to a tarot reading, right? In any situation in their life, not true crime, but just any situation in one's life where they're not seeing the full picture because they're not getting the answers they need. And they'll come and they'll say, I need a tarot reading. Could you give me any insights? Can you show me any ways that I'm not, any new ideas, or give me some new food for thought, because I'm doing the same thing over and over and I'm getting the same results, which is not getting me anywhere. So in that light, a tarot reading might be helpful. Okay? I'm very interested to know what surprises will either be leaked or come to the surface once this case starts moving along. To do this, I'll be using the Mitelli. What other deck? My favorite deck. I'll be using the Mitelli. And I'm going to go off into my meditative place, and I'll be back to lay the cards. I'm only going to lay 3 cards, by the way. My intent is only to find out one thing. I just want one piece of information that might surprise us, or that will surprise us, or something that, will come out either in trial or by being leaked, that will shock us or surprise us, something that we don't already know. So I'm just asking for one thing, which is why I'm just going to do 3 cards. I don't want a lot of confusion. I don't need a lot of insight. I just want one matter of fact to come through. Okay. All right, so I went into my meditative place and I asked the universe to use the cards to answer the question of one surprising thing that will come out either in trial or will be leaked regarding the case that happened in Idaho involving Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. All righty. Okay, so the Seven of Batons, the seven is a number of transcendence. It's it could be a number of breakthrough, of getting information. Batons are weapons, so there's that. I see batons as summer, so it could be something, that's going to come out in the summer. Now, we do know that the trial will be in the summer of 2025, unless it's done earlier. It seems like if it's going to take place in Moscow, it's got to be in the summer. So there's that. So there's a few possibilities that the Seven of Batons could be representing by itself. But in and of itself, it's not showing any surprise or any shocking, interesting thought. Okay, we have the King of Swords. Now, I don't think of BK, the perp, as a king. I don't. I would, in my mind, he is either a page or a knight. He's not a king. I'm very clear on that. So this would be an authority figure. So it's possible that an authority figure, perhaps LE, law enforcement, may throw us a tidbit, may throw us a bone. And here is a knight. We see the back of the knight, and he's like holding up a cup, that's very interesting. So there's a certain amount of denial. There's a certain amount of not facing us. This could be him. This could be him, especially since we have, of the elemental dignities of water and fire, which is how I see these two cards, water and fire, at odds with one another. And certainly the suit of swords, doesn't, it's I guess it's, neutral to water. But when it comes to things of the heart, these two things are unsettling when it comes to cups. So based on the elemental dignities, I do see this as him, as the perp. So separating himself from a situation, distancing himself from a situation. It could be something about when he left, when he took off. It could be anything regarding that. Now, the next, the quintessential card. Now, remember, when you do quintessential cards, I don't count court cards. So it would be the 7, which would be the Chariot. So let me pull the Chariot. Okay. And boy, oh boy, doesn't the Chariot, it's popped up for a number of these readings. It really has. I've done a few readings on Idaho 4. And I've created a playlist. So if you want to see the others, just look for the playlist. And I think I just named it Idaho 4. I don't mean to be disrespectful by referencing that story as Idaho 4, but it's what, it's an easy way to identify the case without going, without being ridiculous with, words, in a title or whatever. Okay, so I think there's going to be some surprising information yielded by law enforcement regarding when he left the scene in his car, like these two. He left the scene, he's on his horse, here there's a vehicle. So I think there's going to be surprising information regarding a vehicle. Could be him when he left, could be something from the DoorDash person, but something regarding a car when he was leaving. Perhaps it'll be insight about the weapon. These are weapons here. That's not the swords, but there is, this is transcending, right? So this is moving forward regarding a situation. Could be the weapon, because maybe he took the weapon when he left. I think one of the readings I did previously showed that he took the weapon with him. So that's interesting. So I think law enforcement will either throw us a bone and give us a little bit more insight, or, leak something regarding when he departed the premises. Or maybe somebody else saw him when he departed the premises, right? These could be two individual things, somebody witnessing him leaving. Could be something like that. but I think it will come from law enforcement. And it will probably be some type of aha moment, or something very interesting, or it could be even about the weapon. And as I mentioned, batons I see as summer, so it could be a nod to some summer. Maybe even if it doesn't go to court or it doesn't go to trial by summer, maybe the information will come out during the summer months. Well, time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. I hope this has been interesting to you, and hopefully it shares some insight into what we might expect in the next several months. Until next time, friends, peace and stay well.